Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. We are going to talk some Major League Baseball playoffs. Yes, it is October the 1st. Yes, there has been a game postponed, but we still have some interesting thoughts and prognosis to get after. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz. Let's have some fun today on the Major League Baseball show on Thursday. As we said, October the 1st. I'm excited, Jason. Let's get after it today, baby.
Yeah, we got October baseball. Nothing better than that, of course. Yeah, not too many games on the slate. We did have a couple teams that went home yesterday, so it's been an interesting class for sure. I think just to reflect on what we've seen so far, a lot of starting pitchers coming in relief. Obviously, we're not putting guys on second base in extra innings anymore. So that Braves game yesterday was pretty interesting and very fun, but very long. And a lot of baseball fans out there don't really enjoy those long games, but yeah, again, I think we've seen a ton of under games outside of the Yankees. It's been really interesting, even seeing the Brewers kind of sticking around with the Dodgers. Lots of crazy baseball. That's why you have to just tread lightly, just figure out your spots, and don't wager too much money on these games because you could end up wagering $500,000 on the Twins and sitting on the couch with them later.
No, exactly. And talk about sitting on the couch. All you can ask for sometimes is some chances. So my best bet yesterday in Banker was the over in the Marlins-Cubs game, wind blowing out. Thought I had a good chance. Struggled early in that one, but he got some runs late, and I thought I was in good shape. And then all you can ask for are chances to cash in that ticket. If you go 1 for 18, Jason and myself could have went out there against Yu Darvish, who was supposed to pitch today, and went 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position. It's amazing that took place in that small little bandbox ballpark with the wind blowing out to right. But that's baseball, as they like to say. And it goes with my adage, Jason. You don't lose overs. You just got unlucky that you didn't win those. So that's where I sit from yesterday. I was amazed at some of the scores coming back, and it continues today. And if you did have a Reds ticket in your pocket yesterday, your entire evening, your dinner, everything was ruined because if you're constantly putting guys on first and third base, bases loaded with less than one out and sometimes with no outs and not being able to score, boy, it's going to be a tough one, Jason, for the Reds to swallow if they can't get something done today. And we're in the 5th inning, and you know what? They got 0 runs already.
Yeah. That's how these games have went. I wanted to take the Braves and Reds under each time, and I've just kind of stayed away, just thinking maybe these offenses kind of figure it out and get going again after a long 13 innings yesterday. But, of course, that's what's happening. We're not getting any runs, and that's how these Braves-Reds games are going. But you guys have to remember, I do have a Reds ticket at plus 3,500 for the Reds to win the World Series. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers, hoping the Reds can figure something out and win this game. Obviously, just $10, so I'm not going to cry over it. But I would love the payout if it got to that point. So I'm rooting for the Reds here.
Two really good hitting lineups down there in Atlanta. And you see like that game goes extra innings yesterday and goes a while in the extra innings. And then we're in the top of the 5th inning and still nobody has scored. It's odd to watch because that's a great hitting ballpark. But just looking at some of the shadows and they're fighting the sun and picking up the baseball, I guess, is a little bit tougher in the day than it is at night in Atlanta. And look, great play by Freddie Freeman right now if you guys are watching live. But not much crossing the plate. But we'll get into it today. There is a cancellation if you guys aren't watching or didn't hear the news yet. Miami and Chicago is canceled due to bad weather this afternoon. They're going to play tomorrow, so maybe we don't get that full game slate today. Hopefully a couple teams win, but we'll get a nice slate again for a football/baseball Friday tomorrow that we can get after. But there's a good game this afternoon and an elimination game, which the same way as it was yesterday for the nice win by the Oakland Athletics. They avoid elimination, but now we come back today, and now you're getting into where you don't have your 8 pitchers lining up. You got Dunning on the mound, and Oakland's going to run out Mike Fiers as the highest. Sierra on the card, XFIP on the card. He gives up fly balls. You get nice weather out in Oakland during the day today. We'll see if it makes a difference. 8 out of every 10 tickets here, Jason, coming in on the Oakland Athletics for this one. They open up as a small favorite, but now you're seeing it bounce back and forth. I'm seeing Pinnacle Offshore at SBRodds.com, a minus 110. I'm seeing FanDuel roughly a pick 'em here in New Jersey. Rivers is at minus 112. PointsBet at minus 115 as a favorite for the Chicago White Sox. And just starting it off here, I agree with that. I think I'm getting the best pitcher in a spurt over the first 5 innings in Dunning as opposed to Fiers. So if I'm looking at this game overall, I still do think overall the Oakland bullpen is a little bit better than the Chicago Whites bullpen. I'm going to go first 5 innings. I think the Chicago White Sox are going to win this series, win today, but also win the first 5 innings. That's where I'm looking today.
So when it comes down to it, Yeah, I think both these starters probably have a short leash. Fiers can maybe go 3, 4, 5 innings, but if he gets hit a little bit early in this game, there's still Mike Minor, there's still Sean Manaea. These guys are also lefties facing a White Sox lineup of right-handed batters that could really do some damage. So you're looking at Fiers maybe going 3, 4, 5 innings at most, but if he can't get out of those innings, then you have those two lefties coming in against the White Sox lineup that's really destroyed left-handed pitching throughout the entire season. And even Fiers, though, he has an average of 308 against right-handed hitters this season. So nobody that the Athletics can throw out there pitch well against right-handed hitting. So it's going to be interesting. The White Sox definitely have the better matchups in this game. But Dane Dunning, on the other hand, for the White Sox, he's going as a rookie in a pressure spot, of course, in a win-or-go-home situation for the rookie. So he's going to have a short leash even more than Fiers will. Dunning hasn't looked great in his last 2 starts. I think he's allowed 4 runs in his last 2 starts each. That's 9 runs in those 2 starts. So it hasn't looked great in those 2 starts. But if you look at the White Sox, they already pitched Dylan Cease in 1 inning yesterday. They don't have Reynaldo Lopez on that roster. I think also Gio Gonzalez isn't on that roster either. So the White Sox are going to be throwing out bullpen arms. That's really what it comes down to. They don't have any guys to piggyback. I thought maybe Reynaldo Lopez would be around, but he's actually not on the roster. So there's really no other guys outside of maybe Dylan Cease. Could he go an extra inning or 2 in this game? Sure, he can. But that's all they've got. That's why Dunning's their starter, and they're going to have to rely on him, or unless they'll have to go to the bullpen if he struggles early. But you're looking at 2 offenses that have really looked good. Obviously, the launch angles yesterday for the Athletics and the White Sox were terrific. Liam Hendriks obviously pitched 50 pitches yesterday for the Athletics, so therefore don't know if he could even pitch in this game moving forward. That's the Athletics' best arm. So you're looking at a potential 4-4 game, and if you have the over 8 or the over 8.5, it's a no-brainer. You get that 4-4. You get that 4-4, and you get the job done. So when it comes down to it, I have over 8 as an official play here. It might be at 8.5 as well. So even if it's not 8.5, if it's at 9, I wouldn't take it. But 8.5 would probably be the most I'd go for it. But then also 8. I got 8. Look, 8 was an early one. It changed 8.5 really quickly. We're talking about the tickets, how they've come in. But the reality is, that the tickets have only been coming in for like an hour, because that's when things have started to come in with the lines. But again, over 8 is the play for me. It's an official. It's a banker for me. If you see at 8.5, I would take it. 9 probably a little bit too high there, but 8.5 would be the play for me.
You can tell Jason's an absolute pro right there. No matter what's going on in the back room, anywhere, still able to give that information out. But it is a live show, so sometimes we have some technical difficulties out there that we can have a lot of fun with. But I look at it today, a lot of the same way you do. I'm trying to see how some of these rookies enter into the picture, because you're getting a rookie right now for Atlanta who's pitching very well. Obviously, Ian Anderson is a much better pitcher overall pedigree-wise to me than Dunning is coming in. But I have Mike Fiers as the worst pitcher overall in the slate today. Nothing checks out with him. 4.58 ERA this season, 4.94 FIP, 5.73 xFIP, which is an absolute disaster, and a Sierra by far almost 1 full percentage higher than anybody else on the card today. So I'm going to get after with a fade. I don't want to worry about the bullpen. I know it's going to be all hands on deck from both sides. I want to see if these pitchers can get through 5 innings. Then you'll see some, matchups versus matchups. But it's also interesting too, because you can't just unload your bullpen anymore in Major League Baseball. You got to throw through 3 batters. So it's not a steady parade of lefty on lefty, righty on righty. Let's get the best matchup. So it does increase the chances of hitting an over late in the innings, because you no longer have specialists that could just come in for 1 batter and then you bring in another guy right behind them. It should be a fun game to watch, the one I'm looking forward to the most. But I'm going to root on for the White Sox. I had the money line yesterday with the Oakland Athletics. That one came in. Today I'm going to switch it back over. Full game. It's going to be a close one, a toss-up for me, but I think I have a little bit of an advantage over the first 5 innings. I think they can get to Fiers in for that respect. 150 people watching live in the chat box. Thank you. 14 thumbs up. Everybody coming here to spend their afternoon with us on a Thursday, and why not? Better to watch baseball today. I'm going to do an NFL show a little bit later. Then I'm going to try to actually watch this supposed NFL game that's going to take place on Thursday night. But Steven's in here. Abel's in here. Randy. Who else? Let's see. I'm in here, of course. And so is Jose, Alex, Jace, and also not applicable. So a lot of people checking in the chat box, having some fun. Paul Cole as well. And we'll keep moving on because, again, only got 3 games today. So as we like to say, time is money. We're not going to extend, and talk about 15 minutes for each game, but we can go a little bit more in depth here. 7 o'clock start tonight, 9:67, 9:68, St. Louis and San Diego. Wainwright on the mound versus Davies. Talked about it yesterday. Weren't sure if one of those younger pitchers was going to step up in a pressure situation, and they did yesterday on the mound with Chris Paddock. You saw the St. Louis offense. Very surprising because I didn't catch the start of the game, but by the time I hit the first update, I looked, hey, when that game's underway, it was 4-0 already, so well on their way. So good on you guys if you picked out a nice little dog yesterday on St. Louis. They're a dog again today. Opened up in that 150s range. Not a lot of line movement despite about 6 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on Zach Davies. Over under across the board opens up at 8.5. Now goes to 9. You got some really good hitting weather out there in Southern California. I'm going to lean on the over in this game. And it seems like a monstrosity now because some 9s are being posted, which in the regular season, like, oh, I'm getting a cheap number at 9. In the playoffs, 9 feels like 150 runs, but I'm still going to lean on the over in the spot here. Jason, what are you looking at here between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres?
Well, now that the Cubs are definitely not playing today, I did have an official play on the Cubs. We'll, I guess, wait on that game for tomorrow. Should be the same pitching. But with that said, I really do like the Padres in this spot. So I haven't looked into it deep enough yet. If I want to do the team total or I want to just do the money line. So you have to follow me on my Twitter page, but I do like the Padres in this spot. I saw them at the money line at around -155, which was the lowest that I found so far for this game. But again, Adam Wainwright on the mound for the Cardinals. This is a guy, he has the high Sierra. He's facing a very good Padres offense. The Padres are really good against righties as well. Lefties have hit Wainwright with a 217 average, but they've also had 7 home runs. He's allowing hits, but he's kind of just dodging, right? He's allowing a ton of hits in games, allowing maybe 2 to 3 runs per game, but kind of dodging and just kind of bending, but not really breaking. He's allowed multiple runs in every start this season since 8/20. So you can probably get a couple runs from the Padres here early in the game, going up against the Cardinals bullpen, get a couple more. I don't see why the Padres can't score runs here. So I'll probably end up looking at the Padres on the team total. I will list it on my Twitter page in just a couple minutes and make sure that that's the play I want to take before making an official play without kind of checking before I give it out. But again, Davies at home, he's looked really good. He does have a high Sierra, low swing strike rate as well. So both these guys won't get high strikeouts. But at home, he's 3-2 with a 3.13 ERA, a batting average of just 227. Righties are hitting 254 with 7 home runs against Davies. So there's definitely potential there for other guys to score, for the Cardinals to score runs off of the Padres as well. So this is another game where you could kind of expect both teams to score. I do think the Padres have a little bit of an edge here. 1 against Wainwright, 2 against the bullpen. So therefore, I like the Padres in this spot. But again, nothing official yet. Probably will be in a couple minutes once I get off the show.
I mean, when you're taking a look at the lineups itself, because we don't have the official lineups listed yet between St. Louis and San Diego, but one side against right-handed pitching, Jason, is a disgrace. And I'm talking about the Cardinals in this spot. Nobody above a 192 ISO. And we're talking about guys like your leadoff hitter, Wong, .068. Your number 2-hole hitter, Edman, .092. Your 5-hole hitter, Yadi Molina, .059. That's like basically I had 100 and, let's just say Molina, 126 at-bats and got 1 double off right-handed pitching. That's literally what it equates out to. Then you flip it over to San Diego and you take a look at what they do against right-handed pitching. Every single person in this lineup is elevated except for Tommy Pham. And when I talk about that, look at the weighted on-base averages to righties. Grisham at 354, Tatis 422, Machado 390, Hosmer 410, Myers 379, Moreland 401. Castro is a little bit low at 308, and then it bumps right back up with Cronenworth at a 394. 8 out of the 9 batters extremely elevated on ISO. Grisham 232, Tatis 335, Machado 294, Hosmer 275, Myers 305, Moreland 324, Castro 230, Cronenworth 272. That is absolute annihilation at home. So they're going to be comfortable in this game. Abel does bring up a good point because you're still sitting in the mid-afternoon, so you might get some shadows in this game. But if you're just looking right now without a distinct pitching advantage, which I don't think there is in this game, but you flip it over to the lineups, one team is anticipated to absolutely rake while the other should be coming in this game scuffling around, Jason.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I'm probably going to look at the Padres on the over on the team total. like you said, the Padres have a much better offense, and they probably slightly have the better pitcher as well. Davies, don't forget, a 2.73 ERA in 12 starts this season. Not too many pitchers this season at 12 starts or more. Davies had 12 starts, 7-4, a 2.73 ERA. It's that's a pretty, for this season, it's a big sample size for Davies, and he ended the season with a 2.73 ERA, a 3.88 FIP, not the best, but Wainwright, a 4.11 FIP as well. Like I said, both these pitchers are going to have balls in play. That's a given. But Davies has done a little bit better job, especially at home this season. So therefore, we're going to roll with the Padres, and most likely the team total in this game is an official play.
It's interesting. I look at the chat box here, and being a gambler, we can all relate to a lot of these scenarios. Not applicable says, if the Braves score this inning, my push becomes a win. If you're a first five bettor, outside of obviously winning outright, but when you're sitting in the bottom of the fifth inning and you can do no worse than a push, it is a wonderful feeling. So you sit back, you root it on. If it doesn't come through, it's no big deal. But boy, when the pressure's off, when you can only win the game, it's a fantastic scenario to certainly sit out there and watch. Game 3 tonight, late night on the West Coast. And looking yesterday, like some of my notes that I went through, was looking more towards the over in that game and also a team total for the Dodgers. I see that game go to 3-0 early, and here go the Dodgers, man. And just what you were talking about too, Jason, like how long is the pitcher going to go Suter yesterday? You're going to get into their bullpen, which is already, mix and match. You're losing one of your best bullpen pieces. And even if you're winning, Hader's not probably going to come into that game till the 8th or 9th inning, and you thought they would have been on their way, but it turned out to be a close game last night in a 4-2 win. But again, covering again those Dodgers. We thought they would do it. They're a heavy favorite again today. 6 out of every 10 tickets coming in on Clayton Kershaw, and people always refer back, well, let's see if we get playoff Clayton Kershaw in this game. Minus 227, minus 225s, as high as 240s here at some of these New Jersey outlets. 7.5 is an over-under across the board. The same common theme comes. It's hard when you run up against the Dodgers, because if you're going up just against a normal team and a normal left-handed pitcher, that's when I really like the 0 win all season long on the Brewers, because they have very good numbers against lefties. We'll see if that might continue tonight, but you're going to get a cheap number on the team total from Milwaukee. And if you're going to take them in an elimination game where they're going to be ones that are going to be eliminated, they're going to try to scratch out every number they can. I'm going to look up just a second here to see what some of these numbers are for the team total. But if there's any time that you're thinking about taking the Brewers, because last night I wasn't taking a look at saying, hey, it's a big number, let me throw a flyer on the Brewers. Tonight would be that night, if any, if you were looking to take the Brewers.
I don't know, not a lot of people know about Brandon Woodruff, but this is a guy who just, in his last start, he went 8 innings pitched and had 10 strikeouts with 1 walk, allowed just 2 hits against the Cardinals. He's no easy out. Woodruff's a great pitcher. Obviously, they lost Corbin Burns, and that's why they kind of struggled yesterday. But Brewers even had a chance yesterday. It was 4-2, and that's why we kind of stayed away from the game, because we were nervous. Like, if they're going to mix and match, it could throw the Dodgers off a little bit and hurt the Dodgers' chances. Well, Woodruff could hurt the Dodgers' chances. He went 7 innings pitched in 3 of his last 4 starts. Has an OBA of 204 with lefties hitting 6 home runs and righties hitting 3 home runs. A 2.79 ERA on the road. But the thing is, he still has a 2-3 record in 7 starts on the road. So, of course, a 2.79 ERA really good. But the Brewers' offense really doesn't score much, and they don't score when Woodruff, especially pitching on the road. And that's the problem. But on the other hand, you have Kershaw going, a lefty pitcher. Obviously, everyone knows about Clayton Kershaw. And when you see him on the card, it's like, all right, Dodgers, easy win at home. Clayton Kershaw should dominate. Well, the Brewers, they've low-key hit lefties well this season. Sometimes you'll see Kershaw not on 100% on his game, letting up home runs here and there. Kershaw allowing 1.23 home runs per 9 innings, a little bit high for an 8th pitcher, if you ask me. Does have a 3.14 ERA at home this season. Has an OBA of 0.194 on the entire season, but he allowed 4 runs in his last start against the Angels in just 4 innings, and it was just 1 earned run, but doesn't matter. 4 runs are 4 runs, and that's what matters when we're betting on game, betting on team total overs, betting on the game. He allowed 4 runs and in 8 hits in that game. I'm not sure if the Brewers have it in them, but it's a closer game than I think most would expect. And when you see the Brewers at plus 220 with Woodruff on the mound versus Kershaw, who's a lefty, where the Brewers, they hit lefties a lot better than righties this season, the Brewers have value at plus 220. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking the Dodgers either. I'm just saying there's potential there for the Brewers to pull off the upset and force a game 3. There's potential there. and I don't want people to get burned if the Dodgers somehow don't play well today because the writing's on the wall. Woodruff could pitch really well in this game.
No, and I tend to agree with you in that sense. And again, we've talked about it time and time again. It's the same exact scenario that we bring about. When you're looking at the Brewers, the one time you want to take them is against a lefty. Now, you're not just getting some random lefty. You are getting a pedigree pitcher in Clayton Kershaw today. But I did post in the chat box here, you're getting a 2.5 as a team total, minus 121. It's not like one of those alt lines where we see minus 2.5, team total 2.5, minus 320 or something like that. It's a cheap number. Yes, is it there for a reason? But you're still going to get a full 9 at-bats to try to grind that out. And you know as well as I do, Jason, a single followed if somebody can catch them deep, you got your 2 runs right there. You just need to tack one on through the late part of the innings. It's hard to go up against the Dodgers overall when you're looking just to money line them because you need a really good effort from the opposite side of the team because even looking at, we talk about the Brewers do have some decent shots here against, left-handed pitching, but when you flip over against righties, Woodruff has been sensational, but you look up and down that lineup, there are no breathers whatsoever in that Dodgers lineup all the way through, and I think we finally have a run here in the Atlanta game. So non-applicable in the chat box is probably cashing out here and popping bottles as the Braves take the 1-0 lead as they look to close out the Braves. Now we're taking a look at this game right here since it is live. Is there any shot, because I saw Bob Nightingale actually send a tweet out a few moments ago, 19 innings now in a row that Cincinnati hasn't scored if you date it back to their playoff runs since 2013. Can they at least get one run before they drop out? Has any team ever just got swept, shutout in the playoffs and just dropped out? I don't know if it's happened. Do you think they can come back, or is it just in their head at this point?
Yeah, it's just one run, so they could definitely come back and win this game. I think coming into the series, we said the Reds would have great pitching. They were coming in with hot bats and thought maybe, they'd be able to perform. But, the Braves have some good young talent. Henderson looked really good today. And, of course, yesterday they had a great performance from Fried. So, can the Reds score a run or two? Yeah, they can. Will they? That's another question. But it's a one-run game. They can still come back and still win it. I'm still crossing my fingers because I have that plus 3,500 on the Reds to win the World Series. They're not going to score runs. They're not going to be getting that ticket from me.
I'll tell you right now, too, when I take a look at even yesterday, like Freddie Freeman winning, how Freddie Freeman is an elevator. I don't know who his agent is or when his contract is finally up, but if Freddie Freeman doesn't make as much as like Anthony Rendon or Bryce Harper at this point, even Mike Trout, it just seems like every time he is up, it's about to be a base hit. It doesn't matter who your closer is. Doesn't matter if you throw a lefty at him. He's always going to come up clutch in that situation. So, but obviously, I believe was it Acuna that knocked in that last run right there? I believe it actually knocked in Freddie Freeman, I want to say, as well in that. So kind of interesting stuff as this game goes around. But that's our 3 games that we have today. Nice, quick, and short. Took about 22 minutes. So we'll go over some best bets and bankers, which, boy, it's usually great when you have like 15 games to try to zero in and you find that mismatch that you really like. But we certainly don't have that. It's been lower scoring out there. I wish I would have got my total in the game yesterday, but you go 1 from 18 and, you just can't survive that and end up hitting a total. I'm going to stick with the earlier game today. Chicago White Sox, Oakland Athletics elimination game. I'm going to take the money line over the first 5 innings and go with the Chicago White Sox in this one. I think their bats are better overall, and I think they can get the Fires, who is a fly ball pitcher with some decent weather out at the Oakland Coliseum. Don't care what happens in 6 through 9. If all hell breaks loose, I think I'm going to be able to pull this one down. I'm going to go with the Chicago White Sox in this game to win the first 5 innings. Jason, take it away.
So the first and foremost, we have the banker over 8 in the White Sox versus Athletics game. If you see 8.5, that's fine. Take it. I'm seeing some 9s now. Then I wouldn't necessarily take it. I'm looking for that 4-4 game, get that extra run, make it 5-4, and hit 9. The playoffs is tough. We're going to see relief pitchers that are starting pitchers. We're going to see relief pitchers look solid. We're going to see relief pitchers look bad in some spots. There's just a lot of unpredictability in this entire playoff. So tread lightly. Don't bet too much money. Just enjoy it. Have some fun. Put some wagers in, and do whatever. But don't go crazy in the playoffs. 100%. We have the NFL, college football. Donnie's been killing in the NFL with that show. Definitely watch that. We got NFL regular season. So I'd much rather you guys put a little bit more money on that if you're going to be wagering a ton of money compared to the MLB playoffs when there's only 3 games. It's impossible to really find a crazy edge when there's such a small amount of games. But with that said, over 8 is the official play. The banker for me on the White Sox Athletics game. I might look at the Padres in a couple minutes. So look at my Twitter, or I might just stay away and just look at the White Sox Athletics and just call it a day. So with that said, the banker over 8 for the Athletics and White Sox game. So Donnie and I will be watching this game very closely together.
No, we absolutely will. And I'm actually looking forward to that St. Louis-San Diego game as well. I want to see some of those lineups come out. Might have a play that we can certainly get down on to try to win some money. But tough sledding here, as I said. It's elimination games, man. It's not like you're saying, hey, the bullpen's going to be light today. If your arm is falling off and you're the best pitcher, they're going to call you out of the bullpen to see if they can give you a couple pitches in an inning. So it's wild stuff to watch. But nice little 3-game slate. Tomorrow we know we have a couple games. We'll be back again. Playoff edition baseball show here at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's another great week. As Jason said again, NFL action tonight. I guess we can call it NFL action, but it's certainly an NFL game. We'll tune in. Gives you something to watch along with that St. Louis-San Diego game and also the nightcap with the Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Dodgers. This has been our playoff edition show for Thursday, October 1st, 2020, carrying you right through to the World Series. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz. We are sportsbookreview.com, and this was your MLB playoff edition show for Thursday. Take care.